Alright, well, we are live. I just gotta really quickly modify this thing really quickly. Sorry, I am in the middle of doing something. That should work. But yeah, we are live, and at this point, I think we'll be doing this for about maybe an hour. A little bit over an hour, maybe. We'll see how long this can go for. But, I don't know. Let's see. We need to see how well this goes before we actually can decide if, I'll end up doing garden show streams more often. But, yeah, we're keeping the promise of doing these lives more consistently. Hopefully, we'll be able to do them more consistently at the very least, because that is my goal: is to keep providing you with these different streams here. Now, there's a lot on our agenda tonight to discuss about. We have a whole lot of stuff here. We're going to be talking about spring gardening plans and stuff like that so you get inspiration. We're going to be talking about inspiration. We're going to be having an open panel right at the end. There'll be some closing remarks. Channel spotlight, too. We're doing that every single stream. I already selected a channel for today. If you want to be a channel spotlight in the next stream I do, just tell me in the chat and I'll see what I could do to make that happen. We'll see what ends up happening at this point in time, and let's get ready into streaming the garden show. Now, I'm not anticipating a ton of people to pull in these first couple minutes. And as for Trivia Tuesday, I'm expecting to be probably doing that at maybe 6:30, 7 p.m. tomorrow. If I were to take a good shot at it, maybe 7:30 if I have to, but Trivia Tuesday generally 30 to 50, maybe 60, 70 minute live long stream if I'm able to. If I really have to, but to be honest with you, I don't really see it lasting for that long, to be honest. So don't be anticipating anything too crazy for the duration of Trivia Tuesday tomorrow. So I'm going to be making that announcement. I always make announcements right at the start of the stream for what to anticipate for the next and upcoming live stream. So what is our next couple lives? What is our next couple lives going to end up looking like? We're going to be doing these So we're also going to be doing Thursday night live discussion. We're hopefully going to be moving the chickens by the end of the month, so those live chicken chats will be returning. Even if I'm in an inactive phase, I'll just be doing live chicken chats instead of anything really. Live chicken chats will just be the general phase. If I have nothing better to do, I'll just do a live chicken chat. That's it. That's literally all there is to it. There'll be nothing more than just a live chicken chat. I'm just saying. This is a quick announcement because because I have finals coming up in late May, and when that ends up happening, live chicken chats will begin taking over the chat room instead. So that's announcements for lives. Pretty much we're done with that. Nothing too big. We're just doing back into lives at this point. So as I was saying, tonight we're doing Tonight we're just basically doing some gardening talk and stuff like that. The open panel will only be available for people that are gonna be talking about gardening plans. Even if you don't have a garden and you just want to talk about gardening in general, as long as I've seen your channel and know you in the chat a bit, then fine, you can come up. I don't care. That'll be sometime after we discuss a whole lot tonight. So now we've done this intro, I want to unveil our plans for the spring gardening season. Yep, that is coming up. I know it's surprising. We're already in the spring garden season. I thought that we literally just ripped out, we just planted our first garden and now we're already on our 5th consecutive spring garden. That's how quickly time is passing. Bro, 2020 felt like it was 6 weeks ago, man. How is time progressing that quickly? I don't know, and I don't really want to know, to be honest, at the same time. So for this spring, as I was saying, you might not have saw that spring garden update video I did the other day. That was a pretty fun video to make. Yeah, it was only 27 views, but it's okay. I don't really care, to be honest. I talked about a whole lot of stuff that was changing this year for the spring garden, and I'm going to name a couple things that are changing. For starters, we're hopefully going to be doing some more plants. I'll talk more about that. And, of course, this year we're going to be getting probably some new blueberry bushes. Now, that's a big thing because our blueberries suck. They're not doing anything. They're just sitting there, not paying their rent, not doing nothing. They're just sitting there. They're not even getting us fruit. They're chilling and doing literally nothing. I don't know what it is. I don't know why they do that. I think blueberries should be full-blown bushes. But guess what? They're going to be 3 years old, and guess what? They're still just tiny little sticks with some branches coming off of them. If we get literally all it will take is a 2-foot snowstorm and it's wraps for them. They're gonna be leaving as soon as possible if that were to happen, because when that sort of stuff will happen. Like, I know it's not going to happen this year. I could show you the model run later, but I remember yesterday I talked about a possible snowstorm. Guess what that possible snowstorm is? Our favorite, rain. Yeah, we all love rain. You know how much fun it is. It's way more fun than shoveling like 16,000 inches of snow. To be honest, it's been a while, but this winter we finally got some stuff. I'll probably, just to be safe, to make sure there's no March snowstorms, I'll probably not be releasing my winter recap till April. So that's something to look forward to. Mark your calendars, probably like April 2nd or 3rd. And if there's an April snowstorm, God forbid if there's an April snowstorm, I will be really mad because I don't want any more snow really past March 14th. That's the last day I'll tolerate snow. If past then, I'll just begin shoveling it off my yard. That's it. Now, so more spring garden things we're going to be doing this year. We're going to be re-getting, I never knew that was a word, replanting some old strawberries. We unfortunately lost a whole lot because if you didn't hear last spring, like late April, mid-May, early June a bit as well, the chickens decided, you know what, I'm going to go meet up with my good old friend, the deer that live out in the woods. And they're like, all right, yo, what do you want to do? And they're like, okay, let's go pick out the strawberry patch. And guess what? They formed a collaboration. They did like a 2017 style YouTube collaboration, and they absolutely annihilated a row and a half of my strawberries. Done. Gone. No more strawberries in those rows. I think it's actually 2 rows. I don't remember, to be honest. It's been a little while since I've actually looked at that sort of stuff. I just kind of walk through the garden. I don't really do anything crazy out there yet. That'll be coming soon, though. Like, by the end of March, we'll begin putting all the stuff that's necessary back into the garden. So stay tuned for that. That'll be coming soon. Now, more strawberries are going to be planted, and hopefully we can get those trellises up for the gourds this year. Because last year I did that. Last year we forgot to do that, and what ended up happening was we just had a bunch of sad gourds sprawling all over the yard. It was very, very, very disappointing, and I was very, very upset. What's going on, Rebecca? Touched by Yarnia. What's up? What's up? You know, doing these chats, and hopefully we can get these lives back up into the original place they were back in like late summer 2022, early fall 2022. You know, that time of year was crazy. But of course, no promises. Another quick thing to talk about though is the fact that, like, the gourds, like as I was saying before I welcomed you into the chat, we had them sprawling everywhere in the garden like it was a disaster. Like, literally, they grew. Like, we planted them in early July, which is extremely late. Really, anything past June 15th has a low chance at getting a decent harvest. But, like, July 5th or July 6th was the day I planted them. And guess what? By the end of August, they were sprawling everywhere, taking out pepper plants left and right, hiding the green beans, hiding the peas. There was nothing to be seen ever again. They're all gone, hidden behind the massive vines of the gourd plants. They are just like that. They'll always be like that. There's no changing them. Unless the only way you could change them is by going out to like a Tractor Supply or a Home Depot or something like that. And you go out there, you do a little bit of shopping, you blow a little bit of money. How much money are trellises? You like blow a little bit of money, maybe about $60 or so on a trellis. And those are like really fancy ones. Most of them are like $30, really. You spend a little bit of money on the trellises. You go out there, you put it in the garden, and install it around the gourds, and then they'll hopefully be able to grow up instead of out. Because that is a big problem. A lot of gardeners that don't put gourds, their gourds behind a trellis, report many issues with their gourds absolutely destroying and ransacking their garden. I don't know how many of you guys have had gourds before, because I've been doing them for 2 years straight. And unfortunately, it'll be like the combination of panels for... Yeah, that's what we usually use for our plants usually. Like, our plants usually have like cattle panels for the trellis, because we're not going out there and investing too much. Although we did go and buy like some more gardening style trellises, the ones that like have like a arch shape that go up and around, make you look like you're walking through a great arch. It's beautiful, crazy. Right after a thunderstorm in the fog, it's crazy. That's what ours kind of looks like. It's a nice arch. Those are different than the cattle panels. The cattle panels are just a straight line that go up and down with some holes in them. That's basically the fence of the garden. So when we put the chickens in there in the spring for fertilizer, they'll get out. They'll get out every which way possible, and unfortunately that will mean that they'll be sleeping in the rhododendron bush for a couple nights. Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate. So yes, chickens will be going in the garden probably by around. I thought Easter was in April, to be honest. I thought it was like some random day in April, but nope, it's late March. I forgot. Probably like around April 10th or so. Like whenever I'm on spring breaks, like the second, third week of April. I don't remember. I have to look at my calendar real quick. The 14th through the 20th. Yeah. So like sometime around there is when we're gonna put the chickens in the garden, and we use them for fertilizer usually. They're a great source for that sort of stuff. If you know, like a lot of people use their chickens for fertilizer and stuff like that. It's a really useful thing. And also, if you clean your chicken coops consistently, you could use their shavings and stuff like that for fertilizer. And also, you could use kitchen scraps for fertilizer. So when you're like out there in the kitchen, you're chefing up something, and you don't really and you like really want to put some of the stuff you forgot to use into something useful, put it in the compost bin. Maybe invest in like a $10 compost bin that you can put in your kitchen, empty it out in a compost bin outside, and then use that for the garden. It will take a little bit, but usually about a year or so, and then we add that back into the gardening soil, and it helps produce some really healthy plants for the upcoming season. Another thing we do is we do like biodegradable. We usually use biodegradable types of the pots there. The biodegradable pots are really useful. I love using the biodegradable pots for one reason in particular, because the biodegradable pots will, like, as you know, degrade into the grass, and like so it won't really. It's like you don't really have to like have like the big pain like transplanting them out of there. All you gotta just use is those big old biodegradable pots, and they'll be good. What's going on, Micro Farmer? Was good. I heard you'd be getting back into lives a couple days ago, supposedly on the stream. But yeah, we're going back into these lives pretty consistently. So if you want, you could go. So if you want, like, you could check them out as like they're coming out, like every now and then. So yeah, as I was saying though, so you planted the potatoes today. I'm about to turn my compost pile. Yeah, we are gonna be probably planting the potatoes probably like by around mid-May, around Memorial Day. Because over here we are in a different growing zone than you, even though we're sharing the same state, we're in a different growing zone because the Northwest Hills have horrible growing zones, you know. But we're gonna be planting them sometime in, like, I don't really think it's just a growing zone thing. I think it's just like it's really just like a preference personally. Like, they grow like really well. Unfortunately though, because we can't really plant them in ground because of those stupid potato beetles, what I'll have to do is I'll like have to put them into like these massive like potato bins or something like that. I don't remember what they're called. I haven't really talked a lot about like potatoes for a little bit. Yep, so you're going back this week and it'll be a banger. That's crazy, yo. And so when that happens, it's gonna be when we plant them this spring, like late May, like sometime around Memorial Day weekend. That's when everyone begins doing their plants. Yeah. Back to my old ways. I don't care whose feelings get hurt, yo. Same over here, bro. I just say what I want to say. I don't care whose feelings I hurt. I just say whatever I want to say here. Really, just for the most part. I don't say everything that comes to my mind, but like I say most of the things here. So you're in 6A. I'm in. They actually did a little bit of upgrading to the growing zone. So last year we were in 6A, but they pushed those growing zones up a tad bit. Now we're in 6B. I have no clue why they did that. I think it was because of like the warming of temperatures a bit, but that's my only guess. That's possibly reasonable for why they updated the zones a bit, but that's pretty much my only good guess. So growing zones play a big part into when we begin planting stuff, and if I were to take a good guess at it, when we plant the potatoes, I mean, not a good guess, but like one of the worst things about growing potatoes are the potato beetles. Those damn potato beetles, they come over and they'll infest literally every single aspect of your garden. We had them on the eggplants a couple years ago, but because when I was out there, I was a young man, 13 at the time, went out there into the garden, saw those potato beetles, really mad. So I went in, made that soapy mixture I talk about a lot when I talk about cleaning out potato plants and stuff like that. I put them in there and I dumped them because I was super mad. And then basically it just and then those potato beetles died really quickly. And we didn't have any issues since then. Hopefully this year we don't. Fingers crossed, yo. Fingers crossed. We don't have any major potato beetle issues. So you're still staying at 7A. I think we're also going to get a bit of rain tomorrow. If I remember properly, I think we're going to get a bit of rain. Not a whole lot tomorrow, but I'm going to have to look really quickly. We're going to get a little bit tonight, but it's not going to be a big deal. It's just going to be a quick couple, like sprinkles. It's going to be 0.01. Then tomorrow we're going to get about a quarter inch of rain. But oh boy, Thursday is looking really interesting. Is it Thursday or Wednesday? I do not remember. I think it was Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday, we're going to get 2 inches of rain on Wednesday, specifically Wednesday night. It's going to be crazy. Yeah, so you want to spray the onion water. What's going on in Adventures with Outdoor Eagle? You literally like, you literally just disappear and then reappear and then disappear again and then just reappear. Like, yeah, that's crazy, yo. Yeah, onions and garlic spray is the best. Yeah. Usually that's what I must say about that sort of stuff. So yeah, we're going to get some rain here. If we had a garden, oh boy, I'd be really happy to see that rain beginning to accumulate sometime soon. So that's all the plans I have for the spring garden. But what about some new plants I want to do this year? Well, for starters, we're talking about collard greens while we're at it. I've always wanted to do collards, but last year, every time I went to the damn Tractor Supply, I went in there, and guess what? They were all sold out of those collards. I went every week, and yet I could never find it. But this year, I saw them. I went to the store yesterday, but I didn't have any cash on me, so I wasn't able to go buy anything from the store. But I did see the collards. I was just looking to see what they had available at the time, and then I'm gonna go probably back in a couple days and go see if I can get some collards. And if I have no luck, then I have no luck. I'll go back in a couple weeks. We have till May. We're all good here. We're all good. And Tractor Supply, I think, is also getting their chickens soon. So just a quick announcement. Even though this isn't a chicken stream, I am decently sure Tractor Supply is gonna get chickens shipped in fairly soon. So yeah, I'll take the rain at this point. No snow, pretty much. I mean, one more snow I'm fine with, but if it happens, but it happens after the next 10 days, no thank you. I want it to be 50s, 60s, 70s, and yeah. Yeah, they'll do well up here. The collards are one of the most iconic plants from a lot of these people's growing garden tours and stuff like that. And also, yeah, they had their chickens in about a couple weeks. Here, I think I already saw the chickens in the store. I don't remember, but like I wasn't really in that store. I think I just walked past there and heard some peeping noises. So either somebody brought their pet chicken to Tractor Supply or I heard chickens in there. So I'll probably go back tomorrow with some cash and then go pick up some plants. And then, yeah, I'll just be back home and I'll begin planting them soon. I haven't yet begun planting. I said I'd begin planting them once I hopped off this live today, but I won't be able to because I have some homework to do after the stream. And I want to go for a little bit. And once I'm done with that, I'll probably begin planting it before Friday. My goal is to get some collards in here ASAP. We need those collards. Yeah, they have a lot of straight runs. Yeah, there's a lot of straight runs. We need the pullets. I don't want any more roosters because every time... I've never had an issue with Tractor Supply, but like with like more corporate breeders, I've had a lot of issues with them messing up the orders, if you will. It's really annoying. I wouldn't wish that stuff upon my worst enemy, for them to get a rooster, because that thing will attack you if you're not careful enough. Other than that, more collards this year. I want to do like a couple, like maybe 2 rows of them this year. I tried them last year and I loved them. I do not think I'll ever not have collards in my meals, especially during the summer when I grow them. I want to do some raspberries, some corn, and some pumpkins. Last year we didn't do pumpkins. Now it's because when I went to go get the seeds, my dumbass didn't ever find the seeds. And I literally couldn't find the seed that was for the pumpkins. And when I found them, it was like mid-July, and it was way too late at that point. At that point, just began planting the fall garden. Yeah. If you have a rooster, it's pretty much dog food, especially since a lot of towns in southern Connecticut are just like suburbs. Yeah, I would try maybe give it a shot, but like not for now. I don't know if you can bring pets into Tractor Supply. I'd have to double check with that. But if I can, then that'll make a really entertaining video, you know? That's how things would be going from now on. Yeah, that'd be crazy. So more raspberry. I want to do raspberries. I haven't done them, but I know one of my family members who does raspberries. I wonder if I can get some assistance from them for growing some raspberries this spring and summer. I would love some raspberries. I love raspberries. When I went to do that mixed berry garden harvest, which you might remember that video, it was a long time ago at this point. Like it was July. How was that like 9 months ago? I don't know. That was like 8 months ago, but okay. But like I would love to have some mixed berries here. I only have one strawberry The strawberries give me a good harvest. The blueberries I've gotten a whopping 5 from the 2 years we've been able to harvest 5 blueberries, mainly because of the birds. I think last year I could have gotten more. I probably could have gotten like maybe 18 to 24 blueberries last year because I did see them blooming, but every time they began blooming, the birds would get to them. And that's an unfortunate. Yeah, you could. You can. Yeah, that would be crazy, though. Yeah, they're all emotional chickens. Yep. It's a Potbelly Pig and Tractor Supply and dogs. Yeah, I'm not surprised. They do have. It's like a livestock store, so I'm not terribly surprised that you find a lot of different like varieties of animals that people bring in there. Actually, I think I saw a YouTube channel somewhere. I watch him. He like has like a he has like an emotional support duck. It's a Peking duck, a big yellow, oh, not a yellow, a white one, a big white duck. Really heavy ducks too, like I think 8-9 pounds, so bigger than my Rowan was. And he brings it like everywhere, and because like it's an emotional support duck, it can basically go with him just about everywhere. So he takes it to like different places and vlogs it. You may or may not have heard of him before. I will not be doing any like shout outs on the stream till later, but like that's not like a shout out because he already has like I believe 1 million. But we're not going to talk about ducks because we don't have any. I might get some later though. I don't know. So other than that, I'm going to briefly talk about like the spring garden this year. Some other things about the spring garden. For starters, I'm going to be going really quickly over the upload schedule. I'm going to be doing a lot of different spring garden tours this year, so you guys can look forward to that. So that'll give you guys something to look forward to this summer. Some more consistent spring garden videos. You know, about every week there will be a different spring garden tour video. Instead of doing it like 3 times a month, I'll be doing it like every single week. So you'll be seeing week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4 updates. It'll be cool. It'll be something you'll look forward to. But unfortunately, we have some time before then. And that's pretty much the only change that's coming. Now on to our next thing is our best gardening products. I was talking about biodegradable products earlier on the stream. Biodegradable products are one of the greatest gardening supplies you need. Because like if you're like doing transplanting from inside to outside, the biodegradable stuff is really, really, really useful for transplanting different things. It's like you can like, and because like it doesn't require you to like actually like take it out of the ground, it can just like become part of the ground. I must say I love the biodegradable stuff. I'd say just about a quarter of the stuff we do that has small enough roots will be able to go there. So you have a question. I'm planning on doing lives again. Looking forward to this. I'd say probably 5 or 6 p.m. because that's when most people get out of work. If it's on the weekends though, then there's a lot of competitive time, so you should look around the community because I don't quite have the answer because I do video essays on Saturday, and it's a really challenging way to like actually look at everything. So back to the point though, the best gardening products also, like we were talking a lot about like hedgers just to clip back some of the stuff, and of course the greatest possible thing the one thing that everyone needs for garden is a pair of hands. Doesn't even have to be a pair of hands, it could be one hand. One hand will do the trick for gardening. You need those hands to like dig up some dirt, maintain the soil, stuff like that. You know, dig with the shovel, operate like a tractor if you need it. Put the weed block, which we'll get into in just a minute. All this sort of stuff. Yeah, that's crazy, yo. Yeah, 6 p.m. is a pretty decent time. It's a nice time when people get out. So we get like, so like, I must say that like, as long as you have a pair of hands, gardening could be light work or it could be really hard for some people. For most people, I'd say it's a decently challenging thing, but that's what makes it really fun and enjoyable. All these different gardening tools makes gardening really simple. It does, I mean, not really completely simple, but like easy enough to the point where like a lot of people will be able to maintain different gardens and techniques, but your hands are the most important part. Weed block is another one. But the weed block is really helpful because like it helps like guard against like all those different weeds that try to spawn in underneath the soil, and it's really hard for it to come up, so like you don't have a lot of weeds in your garden. It's really for like in-ground gardening. I don't really see a lot of in-ground gardening. Maybe for like really big and established farming industries you'll see like in-ground gardening, but like for the most part I'll see most people doing like raised bed gardening, and raised bed gardening is really simple. But unfortunately, even with raised bed gardening, you'll still have weed issues. So if you're like growing plants and you don't want those stupid like pesky dandelions and stuff like that to come in, then all you gotta do, put some weed block on it. It does require a bit of work though, so maybe I'll make a tutorial, but I won't actually be able to do it because I don't have access to the tools to be able to like. I mean, I can clip holes into the weed block, but like that would be a lot of work and really tedious. Burning holes with a flamethrower is a bit easier in a torch because it melts off the rubber surface. But I don't have access to those tools right now because our torch is unfortunately broken. Really sad. Unfortunate stuff. But of course, that's how farm life works. You have to bounce back from these different challenges. Yep. And mulch also works as well, specifically for like our blueberries. But also, what you also want to do is you also want to like put like a cage around like them. You want to put like a cage around the blueberries because that's when the birds try to get to them. Every single year, we keep reminding ourselves we're going to do the blueberry cage, but every single time some brand new project comes up, and like there's always like this brand new project that comes up, like, oh, you need to redo the trusses on the wall. You need to not trusses on the wall. You need to like build this barn outside. This barn needs like a brand new wall. Oh, you need to get like this brand new desk installed, and then you need to install this brand new TV. So like there's a lot of different products. I mean, not products, but like projects that are required when you're living on a farm. So every single time I think about actually doing it, you can't really actually get to work because some brand new stuff comes up. Oh, what was that just fell on my carpet? I don't know. Wait till the plant gets big enough where you can put mulch onto them. Yeah. The mulch is, and another thing for like growing potatoes and stuff like that is is like you can, it's like, I believe like what you do is you like actually bury the plant as it grows like weekly, and like once it gets tall enough, you like stop doing it, and then like they'll begin to die back, and that's when you begin harvesting. Sometime like September usually. So we talked a lot about gardening products and stuff like that. I don't really have any sponsorships from gardening products. I mean, boots. I saw a couple. I think it was last year before. I don't remember that, but like people were doing a lot of product reviews about like these cool boots. I wasn't able to get mine in time, but like thinking about getting a pair this spring. It's really useful because the summertime is one of the weirdest times. Like it could look like it's gonna be 80 degrees and sunny out, but you'll end up getting 6.5 inches of rain by the end of the day. That actually happened a couple years ago. They said it would be 68 degrees for a high, and guess what ended up happening? It was 91 degrees for a high. That was when I was like 7 or 8. So I don't remember it that clearly, but like I do kind of remember that a bit, and it was really weird. That's why boots are really necessary, because like you could get like all this humidity that builds up and creates a lot of mud and murky stuff outside of your garden, and it's really, really annoying. Trust me. And another thing that like you'll notice here, and another thing you'll notice, but that was about it for the gardening products. So boots, gloves, hands. That's one of the bigger ones. If you don't have any hands, maybe if you like can afford them, maybe go get some get like a pair. I don't know. The next thing is our fall garden recap. Oh yeah, we have a lot. Oh, not a lot, just a tiny bit to talk about because there was just a tiny bit of content that I put out for the fall garden because the fall garden was very anticlimactic this year. So we started out. I planted it sometime in October. Like I have to go back. I have to go through my catalog of videos. It was like late October, mid-October, like right before Halloween. That was when I began planting the right there was when I planted my fall garden. I planted only a couple plants. It wasn't a big variety of different plants. It was just a couple plants that I really wanted to see inside, and I really wanted to see them succeed. And as soon as the first batch became coming up, I planted the second batch on October 30th. And after that, I just kind of like, after that, we kind of just took care of it, gave it fertilizer, watered it daily. I did my first garden tour for the fall garden in early November, and then again at the end of the month. I didn't do a whole lot of updates. I then did one more for and then I did one more for early December, but then right before Christmas, we had to pull the plug. It was very sad. Right before Christmas, we had to pull the plug on the fall garden because after all this time, I couldn't find those big enough pots to transplant them into, and unfortunately, the plants passed away. On the very fateful day, I still remember this day, December 27th, 2023. That was the day I had to rip them out of the garden, of the system that I had set up for them. So the fall garden lasted for no more than 3 months. Not even 2 months. Barely 2 months of fall garden. I wanted it should still be growing right now. We should have already gotten some harvest. We were about to get some harvest, but then they just began dying on me. I don't know what caused them to die. I know some part of it was because I wasn't able to find the pots to transplant them into. But even but some of them I already did transplant into big enough pots, but they just randomly began dying. And the first ones were the ones in the biggest pot. So if I had to guess, maybe some soil, because the soil I was using was maybe about 9 months old. I don't know if there's some issues with the soil that I used to plant it or not. If I were to guess, there must have been some issues with the soil. I don't know, to be honest. So the fall garden, we wrapped it up. I made a video in mid-January talking about how I killed the fall garden and how I will be improving. I will be reflecting on my actions, and I will be trying again next year. I'll be getting my head back up into the game of planting a fall garden next year. Next year will be the year, yo. 2024 to 25 will be my year, yo. That'll be the year we have a successful and green fall garden, not an unsuccessful and dead one like we had last year and even this year. Last year, I'm gonna be honest with you, 2022 to 23, I didn't even plant it. That thought never crossed my mind twice. Like, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And then I never ended up doing it. I just completely forgot of its existence because that's, me. 2022 was like my laziest year on YouTube. I just completely forgot about everything's existence. It was a crazy thing. That fall garden, even announcing it was a waste of time that year. So we did talk a little bit about fall gardening, but what about some improvements? How did your fall garden go if you grew it? At this point, you're beginning to do that spring garden. The Planter HGC is coming up soon. Actually, the deadline for the first submission already passed, which is why I wasn't able to get it in time. I wanted to do one last-minute one, but I didn't have enough to meet the 10 herb criteria, if you're wondering why I wasn't able to do that this year. So how did your fall garden go if you planted it? For me, it went horribly, as you probably all know. But for other people, it might have been the most successful fall garden one could have possibly ever planted. Not for me, though. Of course not for me. For me, it was really, really, really uneventful. And it was probably one of our worst years for fall garden. For the spring garden, though, we had a really nice year. But I made like 30 different videos wrapping up the spring garden, swearing I wouldn't make another one. And then I made another one a week later. I finally caved. So, guess what it's time for now? We have one more quick thing we're going to do. And then we're going to open up the panel for anyone that wants to come up and begin discussing about gardening. So today, we have a channel spotlight. And I want you guys to stick with me here. I'm going to be shouting out someone really special. Someone that's actually, I believe, still in the chat right now. I did Sunday shoutouts yesterday with this person. Of course, we got Micro Farmer here, yo. I already did a shout out yesterday, but this is the channel I'm featuring. I'm doing a different spotlight every single stream, so don't worry. If you're not in, there's only one channel for the spotlight this stream. So don't worry. Damn, I know, I gotta click the like there. But don't worry. If you want me to feature you in the next channel spotlight, I will gladly feature your channel in the next spotlight, as long as I can see that you have a decent catalog of videos. That's it. That's all you need. It's just a quick catalog of a couple videos, and you're all good to go, man. And I'd be glad to see all of your interesting and intriguing content. Let's go to Henry Leslie, Vermont. Why won't Nightbot wake up, yo? Can Nightbot wake up for me, please? Maybe? Potentially. So, now that it's time, I believe it's time to begin opening up the panel for all gardeners who are planning on doing a garden this year. Anyone that wants to come up and discuss about gardening or gardening in general, just discussing about like how things went for you, there's the invite link right there. I'll be monitoring it, and if nothing like that begins happening, then, and if no like major action begins happening here, I'll just like begin talking about some other gardening related stuff, like some tips and tricks. Gotta talk about tips and tricks. If you have chickens, use them to your advantage. You want to use those chickens to your advantage for the fall garden, for the gardening season in general, because, for real, those chickens will help you a whole lot. Even if you can't have chickens, but you can have a garden, just maybe go to someone that is able to give you chicken compost or just compost in general, and go get it. And another thing is repurposing stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of different things you could repurpose into different things. So you want to repurpose that sort of stuff into stuff you could use for gardening. I've done a little bit of repurposing around here, not too much, just enough to know a little bit about repurposing. But believe me, when I began repurposing stuff, the garden space began growing. And I've seen a lot of people talk about how repurposing stuff is the greatest thing you can do for a garden. I haven't done a whole lot of repurposing, but enough to know about repurposing at the very least. And if I'm being honest, if you're like in a suburban nature, then I definitely recommend considering doing a bit of repurposing for your garden because it'll go a long way. Even if you're just repurposing like an old like pipe you're gonna use for like a little while ago, and you just want to like get it out of your yard. Maybe you could just tape it to like your fence or something. Not tape it, like add it to your fence and like use it as like a just use it as like something for like strawberries. I remember seeing that in a garden tour, I believe on the old Micro Farmer channel back in June 2022. I still remember that because I used that, I believe, for a video that I posted a while ago at this point. I'll see if I can get Nightbot to wake up. I'm going to type 92 really quickly and see if I can get Nightbot to wake up. You know, he needs to wake up to reality. He needs to be in this chat right now so people can get the latest weather information from their town. I don't know. I'll have to see if it's actually woken up. Sorry about this delay, guys. I don't know if it just needs to be capitalized or not, but like, I'm just trying to wake it up, you know. I guess it's not waking up, so I'm going to have to go to my... Sorry about this delay, y'all. This is not what I wanted to plan on doing right now. This is not what I was planning on doing right now. I am so sorry, yo. I think I found the issue, guys. I have found the issue. I was not logged in. That's why. Alright, guys. Sorry for the quick delay there. Yeah, I did not mean to do that. So it is 47 degrees there for you and cloudy. For me, it's okay. Like, it's not horrible. It's not bad, but it's not good either here. It's like in the low 50s, I think. And it looks partly cloudy, mostly cloudy. Mostly cloudy skies with a storm on the Vinicius. That's going to be moving in tonight, and we're going to get a coat. Oh, not a coating. I thought it was snow. It's going to be a little bit of rain. 46 degrees, sorry. Not 50. It's 46. So it's a little bit chillier here, actually. Just a bit. Just a tad bit here. And if I were to plant the garden right now, yeah, I'll be screwed. It's going to be 50 degrees tomorrow. It's going to be a beautiful day tomorrow to get out and do some work before all the rain begins moving, and then it'll be 60, and then it might snow next Sunday. I don't know. I don't want any more snow. As I was saying, no more snow for me, please. Just maybe a bit. And then once that's all said and done, no more snow. That's it. Simple as that. I'm sorry, but I get sick of the snow really quickly. Like you look forward to a good winter. I don't know how many people can relate to this, but like I look forward to a good winter storm. I'm very disappointed when they lower the totals. I'm very psyched when at the very last minute they push those totals up into oblivion. And then guess what happens? We get the snow. We get like 10, 11 inches of snow. And then it hits me. The post-winter storm, you know, I don't know the post-winter storm realization that you have to deal with this stuff on the ground. It is a pain. It is something that is the worst feeling in recorded history when you realize you have to deal with wet socks, wet shoes, stuff like that for a long time. And it sucks. It really does suck. If you're planting your gardening at the end of May, yeah, like right around Memorial Day weekend is when we put the stuff in the ground that's already in pots and plant stuff like corn, pumpkins, and stuff like that can't go in pots, but it has to go right into the ground. That's what we do up here. So at this point, we're just going to do some Q&As in the chat. Maybe ask some questions about gardening, and I'll be trying my best to answer. And if I can't answer it, I'll be using my favorite internet searching browser, Google, to go look up these answers for you and give you the information that you need about gardening. So ask some questions, I'll answer them. But in the meantime, yeah, we're planting them right at the end of May, Memorial Day weekend, as I bring up constantly. That weekend is my favorite weekend of the entire year. Unless, like, literally, my all-time favorite weekend of the entire year is Memorial Day weekend, because that's when I plant the garden, and plus that weekend's already good enough in itself. And it's a nice weekend, unless it's like 96,000 degrees and 100% humidity. And it's all fine other than that. So I plant my garden at that point in time, and then as soon as I got the garden in the ground, I'll then like begin working on improving the garden, seeing like how I can like, improve its aesthetics a bit. And then after that, I'll just begin like working and maintaining the garden. We'll all begin working and maintaining the garden, and like we'll maintain it so that way we can keep the weeds out and stuff like that. Like, yeah, late frost is always a worry. So yeah, the young plants. Usually we get our last frost around like late April, but last year we did have a day at like mid-May. Not even like the 1st or 2nd of May, like literally like May 15th or something like that. We had a day where it was 26 degrees. On average, our high in May is like 70, and our average low is like 50, 40, upper 40s maybe, low 50s. Not lows in the 20s. And back in 2020, we got, I'm not joking, 3 inches of snow in like May 20 something. So yeah, that's your wake up call. If you live in an area that gets snow until like April, that's your wake up call. Do not plant them until you absolutely know that there won't be any frost. But guess what? Last year we actually did have a day where it was 38 degrees in June. So that's your wake up call to always monitor the forecast and get the necessary information if you live in a really, really flip flop zone like the Northeast here. Because up here in the Northeast, it could be 70 degrees one day, there could be a foot of snow the next day, and then the day after that it's 92 degrees. That's how the Northeast works. So yeah, late frost is always a concern here. But usually once like you get consistent days, like usually the criteria, I'll share with you my secret criteria for planting stuff in the garden really quickly. If you've had at least one day that's been above 90 degrees so far, at least in May, not April. Like last year we had a day in April where it was 97 degrees, and that was our only day that we actually got above 90 degrees until September or something crazy like that. And then we had, so you want to have like one day that's above 90, 3 days that's been above 80, and 1 week consistently where it's been above 70, and no more, and no frost for at least 3 weeks. And then you know for a fact you're pretty much safe to plant it in the garden. You never know with the Northeast. It could be 70 degrees one day and 100 degrees the next day, and then snow the next day. You really never know. As a matter of fact, we actually had one day back in 2018, 17, I don't remember. It was 66 degrees. I went to bed that night expecting to wake up because I wasn't checking the weather back then. I expected to wake up to it also being another beautiful day, but guess what greeted me when I came outside? I'm not joking. 6.5 inches of snow greeted me when I walked out of the door that day. At the time, I literally lived like right next to the school, so I would just walk up there. And when I woke up, saw 6.5 inches of snow on the ground, expecting it to be in the 60s, I was very disappointed. Like, very disappointed. You never know. And as I was saying, how does that tie in with the garden? It does, because you never really know. If you're in an area where the weather is like really consistent, you already probably have a set in stone date, but Memorial Day weekend is usually the perfect golden time to begin planting. For at least us personally. And then for harvesting, usually you get your first harvest around like late July, early August. And it really peaks on like the second week of August. Like you get to that second week of August, like the 4th through the 10th, and then the 11th through the 17th. And you get those big bursts of harvesting, and like it's a really nice time to be alive. That's just one of my favorite times of the year to be alive. What's going on to Chicken Network, yo? Similar name, similar game. You know how it is. It's just a crazy time of the year to be alive. That's why I love that type of year. I mean, that type of like summer where like it's like really warm and wet. But like we've had summers where it's just been extremely hot and dry. Cough, cough, 2022. Unfortunately, according to the trends of recent years, this summer will be probably hot and dry. But you know what that means? That means we'll probably get a good winter. Not jinxing anything, because that's a year away. But I hope that we have a good winter next year. I want a 3-foot snowstorm to greet me one of these days, so I can make a crazy video about it, you know? You know how it is. So, with all that being said, take everything I'm saying right now, the lesson I want you guys to apply: never trust everything. Never trust everything. So like if you like see the weather's nice out and you want to go outside and plant your garden, guess what's going to happen 3 days later? It's going to snow 8 inches. Regardless of where you live, that snow will track you down and ruin your day. Because that's what happens every time we think we're done with the winter. It tracks us down and then ruins our day by giving us a fresh couple inches of snow. I still remember 2018. I thought we were in for a warm April, and guess what? We got like 7 inches of snow to start out the April month, Then we got like a blizzard sometime in the middle of that month. It was crazy too. No, thank you. No, thank you. I'm done with snow at this point. Like, for real, I just want it to be spring at this point. It looks like it'll be really consistent. We're seeing highs in the 40s and 50s for the next week or two, which I mean is good, really good. I want it to be warm. So the lesson I'm trying to teach you guys on these gardening streams is to never trust the weather, specifically the weather, and always the weather, because that will make or break your day, unfortunately. The weather will always make or break your day. And in the Northeast, 90% of the time it'll break your day because it'll be like the muggiest thing ever. It'll either be like it's a really nice day, you get to go outside, you get to go play outside with the chickens, stuff like that. Or it'll be one of those days where it's like ridiculously hot and dry. So hot to the point where you can't even walk outside. Happened to me summer 2022. There was a period that summer where I walked outside. It was so hot that day. I literally wasn't even like, it was like when you get so hot, like you can't even like wear a shirt. It's horrible. That's how hot it was. And I still remember that day. It was 104 degrees. No, thank you. No, thank you. Get out of here. Yeah, 65 degrees where you're at right now. That's crazy. Yeah, the sap is running well here. We don't have a lot of... I haven't really seen a whole lot of sap so far this year. No sap so far. Thus far, no sap, but that'll probably be changing soon. Probably by like the end of the month, we'll probably have some decent sap out on those maple trees and stuff like that. So yeah, my goal is to have a good gardening season this year, and I'll probably be releasing a prediction for the gardening season soon. If you guys want me to, I'll make a garden season prediction for you guys. I don't know how well it will look, but I'll try to make a garden season prediction for all of you gardeners out there that really want to know how your garden season will be. I'll probably releasing it on my community tab sometime really soon, so stay tuned. Check out your subscriptions tab, something I really need to learn to do. Yep, I forgot that tab even existed, to be honest. But if you guys are really interested in gardening, you can check out like all the videos I make about gardening. This is not like a shameless promotion here. This is just me talking about like how we're gonna be like going about this sort of stuff in the coming weeks. So, with all this being in mind, we've been doing the stream for almost 50 minutes. So this is my longest stream in what, 3 or 4 months, 5 months, 4 months ago. 4 months ago was the last time I ever did a stream of this duration, and my goal is to make it to just a tad bit over an hour, to make it the longest talking stream I've done in a long time. So for 6 months, yo. We're gonna be going this to about an hour and 10. That's what we're doing today. So as I was saying though, there's a lot of different stuff you can't trust with the garden, and at this point in time, there's not too much left to talk about here. We will do closing remarks and ending soon, but let's shift the topic a little bit away from gardening and a little bit into chickens, because most of the people here love their chickens, and if they don't have chickens, they are dreaming of having it. We have chickens here. Yep, good luck gardening. Hopefully everyone that's planning on doing a garden has a really successful gardening season this year. Wishing everyone the best of luck for the gardening season, because it's a really challenging and potentially potentially it's season where you get anxiety. I did shout outs earlier, but I'll see what I can do for like maybe next stream. I'll write down my notes really quickly. That like I'll have you as like the spotlight channel for the next stream. The next stream I'll probably have you as the spotlight channel. That'll be tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So not 5 p.m. like 7 p.m. Eastern time. Trivia Tuesday. You never really know, man. You never really know. So I'll probably write that down in my notes somewhere. Now, at this point, let's shift the topic a bit to chickens. So, how is everyone's chicken flock doing? Like, how has your flock been? If you have a chicken flock, is it going all right? Is it, like, failing a bit? Because we are approaching rooster mating season, and that is my least favorite part about spring. Because I have a rooster named Falcon, and he is one of the biggest D-bags I think I've ever seen in recorded history. Like, he is just horrible. He doesn't do his job, nothing like that. I rant about him a lot. So much so that I could probably make a whole, like, 30-minute video talking about all the unfortunate qualities. And as for my chickens, they don't like him. But unfortunately, we can't move him into the farm flock because he's already became too attached to the current chickens. that we have. But the one thing about these roosters, though, is that there is some hope. There is some light at the end of the tunnel for them, that I can get him trained. I can turn him into a nice rooster, and I can get everything working once again. Unfortunately, that will take a long time. I'll keep you guys in the loop with everything like that. For now, what is that banging sound I'm hearing right now, bro? I don't know. I do not know what that sound is. I'm sorry, but like, there is some hope that we can get that rooster to be behaving once more. It'll take a lot of training. And as for my current farm flock, there used to be 2 roosters, and then there used to be 3 roosters, actually, believe it or not. Last year, around this time, this day, last year, we had 3 roosters in that flock. Now we have 0. Because any of the remaining chickens from the flock that was alive last year is in the pet flock now. And that's a grand total of 5 chickens out of the, I believe, 30-something we had at this time last year. Because of a combination of bobcats, coyotes, and stuff like that. If you guys saw my chicken predators video I made a couple weeks ago, I highlighted a whole lot of experiences I've had with these different predators that come by. I stop by, they have some like KFC, Chick-fil-A, something like that, and then they just leave. They just leave, never to be seen again, and then they come back out of nowhere. That's the unfortunate trait of chicken killers like coyotes and foxes and stuff like that. So that's all the combination of stuff that began destroying that farm flock last year. So, while I would have liked to have them in the garden and stuff like that last year, unfortunately, there's nothing we can really do at this point. So, for now, at the least, there's no roosters in that flock. And for any other chickens I want to get this year, I've talked a lot about chickens I want to get this year. I don't really know if we're actually going to get any new chickens this year. At this point, we have about, I think I can do the stream for about maybe 9 more minutes. I don't think I'll actually be able to make it to like an hour 10 because I have like homework to do soon. But I'll be doing the closing remarks at this point. We briefly recap everything we discussed about in the stream, what we could have improved on, and stuff like that. So we talked a whole lot about, like, we just did a little quick discussion about, like, how was your day going? Then I talked about spring garden plans, like, what is a spring garden going to look like? Some new plants we're going to be doing this year, the upload schedule that my channel is going to follow for the spring garden, some products that we could have used, what gardening is going to look like going forward, the fall garden recap, some improvements I could have done. I did a Q&A, which would have been the open panel. I did a channel spotlight, and now we're doing closing remarks. So at this point in time, I will say that we've had a really successful last couple years with gardening, and I hope to keep that successful trend for a long time. And using everything that I talked about today, I talked a lot about tips and tricks and stuff like that. You could use that to apply to your garden as well, and you could grow a really successful garden if you give it your all. The one tip is to always, like, never give up. Like, that's the only tip for gardening that you really need, and also to have hands. You know, that's another thing you need for gardening, but, you know, you could get fake ones if you need to. So, closing remarks at this point, yeah, pretty much always believe in yourself that you could create the greatest and most beautiful garden in recorded history, because you probably can. You need to put a lot of, like, you should put a lot of different, like, what you should do is, like, you should be like, you should be really proud of the work you put into the garden, because that is the one way you can keep, like, your hopes high for the garden. Because unfortunately, a lot of times, if you think that, like, your garden is horrible and it's not doing well, chances are your garden will begin suffering from that mindset. So always have a good mindset, always have a good stuff for gardening. For the fall garden, I don't think I'll ever be doing a style like this year. Never again. I will never be doing a gardening style like I did for the fall garden this year. Like, ever again. Like, never again. Like, never. But for going forward, yeah, we'll be trying out different styles. I'll be trying out different things for gardening, for new products I'm going to be using for the garden this year. Nothing new for products, but definitely some things brand new. I'll be arriving for, there'll definitely be some brand new stuff arriving for plants and stuff like that. So there'll be different plants that we'll be planting in the garden this year. There'll be different plants, as I was just saying. Sorry, I'm losing my voice right now, bro. But there'll be different plants, like collard greens, raspberries, corn, pumpkins. I mean, I would have had pumpkins last year, but it was out of my sheer laziness. And my eyes not being able to pick up on them as well in the seed bucket. And that was the reason we didn't have any last year. And also a combination of the fact that there's no watering system up where we have our up where we have our pumpkins. So we can't really put anything in there for the time being. So for the time being, I will say the fall garden will probably be going on next year. The spring garden will be coming up really soon. Quick schedule thing, on Friday is the day I'm planning on releasing my first planting of the fall garden. This is about the time when you begin planting not the fall garden, the spring garden. This is about the time when you begin planting that sort of stuff. So get everything ready, because we'll be doing some crazy stuff this spring that you guys do not want to miss out on. And as I would usually say in the long videos, check out the little notification bell. It's pretty useful, even though it works about 20% of the time. If that 120% of the time happens to land on a gardening video, you don't want to miss it. It'll be really cool. And as for everything else, well, wow, I really forgot. I really lost myself there, bro. I zoned out for half a second, and I already lost what I was about to say. So, we discussed about the plans, the closing remarks, some things I want to do better for next stream. Next garden show will be on, let's see, the next garden show will be on the 18th. The next chicken chat, though, will be on the 11th. And Trivia Tuesday will be on the 5th. Thursday Night Live Discussion will be on the 7th. Friday night stream, if it happens, will be on the 8th. And then Shout Out Sundays will be on the 10th. So those are just some things to look forward to in the next week or so. There'll be a whole lot of different things I'm planning on doing for the long run. These are coming back for at least a couple months now. I'm happy to announce that I'm getting back into the swing of things here. I just need my setup to be a little bit less humid. I don't know why it's so humid in here, but unfortunately those last couple weeks in May will probably mostly be chicken chats, or not chicken chats, but live chicken cameras. I want to see if I can do those again. I really don't want to use all my mobile data up, so that's why I don't really see them anymore. Because if I were to do them, they'd be 5 minutes long before I run out of all my mobile data. I've already used almost a gigabyte of it up this month, and I don't want to use up any more. Simple as that. So, at this point, it's time to begin shifting away from the closing remarks and into the outro of this live. So, at this point, we are pretty much done. We have 2.5 minutes, a little bit under that, left in chat today. Oh, there's my puppy. What's going on? What's going on, puppy? Good? Where'd you go? There you are. Yeah, my puppy just came into my setup. At this point, there's just a couple things. I might try to do face cam lives. I don't know if I'll actually be able to. Maybe. Something to look forward to if I'm able to get around to it. Any last minute things I missed out on for the stream? Not that I can see of. So, shout out to everyone that was in the chat tonight, man. Y'all are real. You're real for that, man. And you guys are the reason I'm able to keep doing these videos. If I didn't have any audience, man, I would be creating these videos for no one to see. Literally no one. So thank you guys. Shout out to the audience, obviously, for watching these chats. Just watching me ramble for basically an hour. Not everyone from the start stayed to the finish, but of course that's how different types of chats work. Stay tuned for Trivia Tuesday tomorrow. That'll be at, as I said, summertime between 6 to 7 p.m. And it'll probably last for about this duration as well. Tomorrow's Trivia Tuesday will be focused in around poultry. I haven't done one of those in a while. By the way, the live trivia tournament will probably be happening in early May, so that's another thing to look forward to. About a month and a half, 2 months. At this point in time, we have 45 seconds left in chat. So thank you guys. I'm going to begin deactivating all my banners and stuff like that over here. So yeah, I will be doing so we have, let's see, about maybe 30 seconds left. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to this chat. Hope you all have a good day. Maybe go check out someone else's live that needs the support and the hours. We've got to show support to the fellow community members around here. They're doing a lot of work to keep this community around. And at this point in time, let's see what our actual current time here is. By the way, most of my streams will probably only be about an hour long. Just want to say that really quickly. We are at an hour. There we go. Bam, 1 hour. So, bye.